Hi guys, Dom here, back with another weekly news roundup. I've been away this past few days on a friend's stag do, so I'm a little bit out of the loop, and there may be a couple of stories I've missed, but I'm going to try and cover what I can and give you guys some news, both UK and then global, over the past week. So first up, on the UK side of things, it's been the 2019 UK Esports Awards on the weekend, which gutted I missed. I was obviously there working with the team for the first one, and but from what I hear, it went well, and the winners were announced. So congrats to all those winners. 13 I believe, and go check them out. Some really well-deserving winners there. Good. Impressed to see Thunderstruck winning the Player of the Year. I think he's a top Clash Royale player with a lot of talent. And I believe these two are returning winners, Excel and Cal from Eminem Gaming. Congrats to those guys. There's some real good talent in there, and I'm glad it went well. And as one of the judges, I was honoured to be asked to be a judge. So, let's keep supporting that. This isn't a UK story. Let's move this back there. Right. So, the first UK esports scholar has graduated with a first-class law degree, and she wants to create an all-female League of Legends team, which I found interesting. So I hope I'm pronouncing the name right. Julia Quires, I hope I pronounced that right. Graduated from the Uni of Roehampton, which was, I believe, the first uni in the UK to offer esports scholarships. And I believe she was a Diamond League of Legends player. And she said something I feel strongly about as female representation in esports. Currently, there are no women in the top League of Legends esports teams, even though 45% of people who play games are women. And she's currently involved in an initiative in the works to create an all-female team, and is excited to see where that leads. So, it'll be interesting to see where that goes, but a good development in the UK nonetheless. And congratulations to Julia. Another thing on the education side of things and the development here, Digital Schoolhouse, which is an initiative from UK, the UK Games Industry Trade Body. They hosted a Just Dance tournament at the government, which not a top tier esports tournament, but that's not the aim, of course. It's great to get youngsters involved in esports, and this was done as part of Bring Your Children to Work Day. So there's some cool little pictures here on the Digital Schoolhouse website. Children were divided into groups in order to design their team logo and create their signature dance move. I believe there is like a Just Dance World Championships for esports. I don't know what the prize pool is, but if it engages with people, gets people into esports, I'm all for that. Next up, this is something I wanted to highlight from my work that I do at the British Esports Association. So we interviewed Sport England a few weeks ago, which is a public body sponsored by the DCMS, and they're about to publish a new policy document outlining their stance on esports. And they said a few interesting things. They're less bothered about looking at whether esports is a sport and all that stuff, and more looking at what sports can learn from esports and vice versa. And I asked them a question. Where is it here? Do you envisage a future where grassroots esports teams in the UK could acquire government funding? And Phil Smith, who is the Sport England Director of Sport, he said that it's possible, depending on how the esports competitive structure evolves and how international teams could be used to show the benefits of physical activity. So that bodes very well, but I believe Sport England distributes funds to sports teams and things like that. So opening the door to potential esports team funding in the UK is very significant, and watch this space. Next up, Craig Fletcher, the founder of Insomnia, huge gaming festival, which I'm sure you're all aware of, is now owned by Game. He's joined the advisory board of Flightrow, which I'm not too aware of it, but it's apparently an esports fitness app, which sounds interesting. So I don't know much about this at all. This is like the first time I've been on the website, but See how your sleep activity and health can benefit your performance inside the game. Hey, this sounds like a positive thing. I'll probably check that out at some point because, if it helps boost people's performance and the mental side of things, then that's only a positive for sure. Last UK story then on my list. Lino Bergold has been crowned the winner of Red Bull Untapped at the Red Bull Gaming Sphere in London. Now this is a new Magic the Gathering tournament from Red Bull and Wizards of the Coast with a $200,000 prize pool. So a few days ago, 8 of the world's best went head to head, which featured 7 best of 3 matches, and Lino, sorry again, I'm not pronouncing names correctly, emerged victorious in the final against Thomas Holzinger, earning $60,000 and a place in the biggest event in competitive Magic the Gathering, which is the Mythic Championship 6 in Richmond, USA this November. So, that's another tournament. Again, I'm not close with Magic the Gathering, but it's great if the Red Bull Gaming Sphere is hosting tournaments like this. The more the merrier, I say. Bring them over to London. We've seen some of the great stuff it's done with Method. I know Method has moved away from Red Bull now, but it's shown that places like that can host great events. And I was at the Fnatic London HQ around the corner from the Gaming Sphere the other week for their 15th birthday party, and that's really impressive. I remember when that opened, I think a few years ago, there was a lot of it I felt that it was kind of unfinished. It's starting to get finished now and it looks fantastic, so that's really cool. I'd say probably the biggest story, certainly of the past sort of 2 days or so, is what Donald Trump has said about video games in the wake of the tragic mass shootings in Texas and Ohio. I'm just going to play a clip from this real quick.
This includes the group. We must stop the glorification of violence in our society. This includes the gruesome and grisly video games that are now commonplace. It is too easy today for troubled youth to surround themselves with a culture that celebrates violence. We must stop or substantially reduce this, and it has to begin immediately.
President Trump.
So, yeah, you can see there Trump not happy with video games. I thought we were all past this. This blaming video games by government, media, people in power has been going on for a long time. It's an easy way out. Games are an easy thing to blame. I remember when the Columbine massacre happened, probably some 15, 20 years ago now, the high school shooting. People blame Marilyn Manson. I think some video games were blamed in there as well, and it's happened on and off. Who was it? I think it was Piers Morgan's wife did a story the other week that some people tweeted about, and she was blaming video games for shootings and things like that. It's an easy scapegoat. Games are easy to blame. A lot of people have responded to this tweet that the well-known esports journalist Rod Breslau, aka Slasher, put out. And Slasher, it was great for him to respond. He's you can see here he was actually on Fox News after that intro I played, and he sort of defends games very well and defends esports, so go watch that if you haven't. But a lot of people responded to this. It's had 23,000 retweets. I'm glad people like Rod and gamers around the world are standing up to these accusations. And if you blame games, politicians and media, then you've got to blame books, you've got to blame films, you've got to blame music, you've got to blame everything, because there's worse, there's just as awful films out there than there are video games. I'd argue many more films that have more graphic and disturbing content than video games. So why people are pointing the finger at video games, I think maybe because they're interactive and it feels like they're influencing the user more. But there are people out there that say there's proof video games makes people aggressive, and then there are other people that say there's no proof. It's a whole massive debate. Go watch the video, go see what you think. But I think it's unsubstantiated views. a lot of people are arguing it's, the guns, ban the guns. A lot of Americans want to defend their right to own a gun and so on. That's it's a whole can of worms, that debate that's been going on for a long time and will continue to go on until something's done to stop these awful tragedies. But anyway, moving on from that, if I can. This is probably the other biggest story of the past week. Mixer has signed an exclusive streaming deal with possibly the world's biggest streamer, or one of, Ninja, well known for playing Fortnite, of course. And I've heard some things about what this deal was worth. I can't say them, but my gosh, it's a lot of money from what I'm hearing. So Microsoft, of course, owns Mixer, the rival to Twitch, and they want the big boys. They want to make a serious stab at challenging Twitch, and by signing people like Twitcher, they're going to have a chance at doing that. But it's typical Microsoft, isn't it? They threw tons of money at Minecraft years ago. They bought it for God knows what. I can't even remember the figure now, however many billions of dollars it was, or millions. We'll see what happens, and I think Twitch have put up a page when you search for Ninja now saying, hey, Ninja's in another castle now, but go check out these other great Fortnite streams. So what else can they do? But it'll be interesting to see this battle between Amazon and Microsoft in the world of gaming over the next few years. It'll be interesting to see how that develops. Following on from a story which I mentioned on this weekly news roundup, and broken again by Jacob Wolf, the great journalist at ESPN Esports. The Sentinel CEO is apparently suing Arsenal owners Kroenke Sports and Entertainment over this proposed Echo Fox purchase in the North American League of Legends LCS because of disputes regarding a joint venture between the two entities. So, of course, I believe Kroenke already have a deal with Sentinels, which handled the Los Angeles Gladiators in the Overwatch League, the team that Kroenke owns. In the suit, the Sentinels have said that Moore acted as CEO of KSE Esports, company established by the Kroenke Group to hold their esports ventures. According to the lawsuit, Moore said he and the Sentinels were not compensated for activities done by the joint venture, and that he had gone out of pocket on certain expenses for the Overwatch League team. So it looks like it's a case of being owed money. Sentinels not happy. We'll have to see how that develops, and if Kroenke Sports and Entertainment do get the slot that Echo Fox currently own. It's an interesting one I saw over the past week. Evo, of course, the big fighting game tournament in the States, are in trouble with Bandai Namco, Konami, and Solid Snake voice actor David Hayter. They basically put out a short video featuring the voice of David Hayter, which led to speculation around whether the character would be officially added to a Tekken game. And Evo has apologised via Twitter, saying that it was not an official tease, just our little idea of a joke, apparently. It was done on our own without consulting Bandai Namco. I mean, it's a bit mad to put a licensed, a game license and put a trailer on your show without even talking to the people that own the license. So people were very bemused by this. And David Hayter was very angry because he said, Evo, you also failed to consult me or Konami. Please do not use my voice to promote other games ever. David Hayter. So Solid Snake not happy there. Moving on, the kind of UK and global news here. The UK hosted the FIFA A World Cup finals on the weekend at the O2, and the winner this year was Mohamed Harkus, aka Mo Alba, who beat Saudi Arabia's reigning champion, Mossad Al-Dosari, 3-2 in the final. Of course, Mossad won last year, and I believe it's the first time a German FIFA player has won this event, and he took the top prize of just over £200,000. So congratulations to Mohamed, And good to see that FIFA have been coming back to the UK for their World Cup finals. I hope they continue to come back. I didn't make it this year, like I say, I was away on a stag do, but I know last year it wasn't super busy at the O2, but from what I hear, the viewer numbers were good, and it's FIFA, it's always going to be around, right? So it's good to see them come back. Moving on, we've got the Mountain Dew is returning with a GameFuel League for the second year. So they've teamed up with PUBG to launch a 2019 GameFuel League, and it's designed to bring together amateur gamers to compete like pro esports stars, and launching in a few days. That's going to take place in the UK, Ireland, Germany, Spain, Finland, Sweden, Norway, Denmark and Switzerland. I should have just said countries in Europe, shouldn't I? Really there. So that's another tournament on the way. Doesn't say much about prize pools from what I can see here. I may be missing that. But another PUBG League. This was some interesting news that also came out from Evo in the States. Riot Games have said they're working on a fighting game, which is interesting. And Tom Cannon, the co-founder of Evo and game developer Radiant Entertainment, which was acquired by Riot 3 years ago, he revealed the info on stream, saying, back in 2016 when we joined forces with Riot, I said we were going to go in the hole for a while, right? I wanted to let people in on maybe the worst kept secret in the universe, which is that I can confirm we're working on a fighting game for Riot. I mean, it was a given if Riot have bought a studio which develops fighting games, but that's interesting to hear from the horse's mouth, so to speak. But Riot did not confirm whether or not this game in development is going to be League of Legends themed, so we don't know. I know it's obvious now Riot are keen to put the games in Riot Games and have released TFT, the auto chess game, and obviously want to launch more. They've hinted at things like MMOs and things in the past, so who knows what they're going to do, but interested to know that's happening. Here's a bit of drama for you all involving a British Rocket League player, one of the best players, Tadpole from Wales, who's put out a long tweet longer. I won't read through loads of this, but in a nutshell, it involves one of his teammates leaving, Renaki, who's joined Barcelona now, and it basically, in a nutshell, looked like it ended badly. Tadpole said he still owed almost €1,000 by Renaki, and Renaki has put out a tweet. Someone's put out a tweet about Renaki saying this.
Like my new Gucci shoes I bought for £957.
So he's basically laughing at Tadpole saying, I'm not going to pay you the money, I've bought shoes with him. From what I hear, there's loads of drama in Rocket League. Hope it gets sorted. Tadpole's a good talent. I hope Tadpole doesn't dwell on this nonsense too much. I don't know the full ins and outs of everything that happened other than Tadpole's tweet longer and a few bits on Reddit. But I hope they can move on from it and players to act with a bit more professionalism. So last few here. Refresh have confirmed they're selling Astralis and Origin, two big esports org brands, in CSGO and League of Legends respectively. Astralis and Origin are no longer owned by Refresh after the company sold them to Astralis Group APS, which is a new Danish esports company. Deal is worth reportedly from 10 to 15 million euros. Yeah, so there's, I remember watching a Richard Lewis video on Refresh Entertainment and some of the stuff they'd done a while ago, and I don't know the full ins and outs of this story. Go and read up if you want to find out more. It doesn't involve the UK really, but yeah, that's another one. And then lastly, for Pokemon geeks like me, this will be a story you'll be keen to hear about. There's a Pokemon Centre opening up in London. I know I'm going to be taking my son there when it opens in October because he's well into Pokemon at the moment, and I've grown up with the franchise, so yeah, I hold a place in my heart for Pokemon. Even if the games I feel a bit easy these days, it's you know, it's still a fun game, and of course is played competitively. You've got the World Championships and things like that. So that's going to open at Westfield London in Shepherd's Bush this October. Apparently October 18th through to November 15th. I don't believe that's 100% confirmed yet, but it is definitely coming. So yeah, look forward to seeing all their wasting a lot of my money on Pokemon memorabilia there. And that's all for this week, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh yeah, in Sacco's Snackos this week, which is a silly segment inspired by a few of you guys. Citrus Empire, thank you for starting this. I reviewed an apple last week. This week I'm going to review some ice cream, which unfortunately has melted because I've been sitting here chatting to you guys for the last 20 minutes. I'm going to give ice cream a 6 out of 10 as a gaming snack. It's tasty, of course it is. It's but it melts, so if you're playing a game solidly for like half an hour, it's a bit ruined. But if you're vigilant and determined, and you eat your ice cream quickly, well, not too quickly, you don't want to get indigestion or anything, but you eat your ice cream relatively quickly while you're gaming, it's good. And what's good is you've got a spoon, so you can have a mouthful, put it back down, get to gaming, and eat it as you like. So that's it, guys. Hope you enjoyed this news roundup. I better dash off to Birmingham, and thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next week.